Hello lovely people, how are you doing today? I hope you're well. I'm out and about again, out and about as you can see. It's really blustery today. This bluster wasn't forecast, and it's really sort of gloaming overhead, which was also not forecast, but never mind. We'll try and make the most of today. Now, do you remember, here comes a bluster, I'll bring you really close. Do you remember I was talking about a little road we would walk down? It came about, I was talking about trees and Dutch elm. I'd read that barn building book, and I was talking about a little avenue, a little lane we used to walk down. I'm in that lane where it had once upon a time been a completely enclosed green corridor, and then Dutch elm came along and wiped so many of these trees out. And I reckoned that must have been about 1972, and I was 4 or 5. Anyway, let me turn you around, because we're... Oh God, I might have picked the wrong day for bathing, but this is where we're heading, and I'm just going to turn you around. Whoops, sorry, that was way too fast. Let me get hold of my stick, but can you see how, I mean, this is 50 years later. Obviously, some trees have grown, there is a bit of cover, but it's not quite the green corridor it once was. It's just approaching this road, and I've been chatting out loud to my sister the whole time I've been here, and I said I'd forgotten, oh sorry, my finger, hold on, let me rearrange it. Yeah, I'd forgotten that actually from getting off the bus about half a mile back, it's all steadily downhill. It's really quite downhill, but I don't think you can get a sense of it. Which means, of course, this is what I was just saying to my sis, I've got to come back up here. Oh, good grief. So I think a nice little sit on the beach, a bit of a swim. I'm hoping a bit of a swim will just make my knees a bit less angry from the last few days of doing quite a bit more walking than I normally do. So I'm going to turn this little corner, get off the road and just go onto a little track path. That's where we've just popped out from, but I thought before we go down the little lane to the sea, I ought to give you the obligatory thatched cottage shot, eh? Very pretty. Oh, there's something about thatch, isn't there? Right, enough of that. Let's get to the beach. Oh, it's blustery. This is the way to the beach. Can you see now why I found it so magical as a kid? Sorry, it's really rough underfoot. Down here there's a little stream. It's probably very low at the moment. But we did have a bit of rain. Oh, barking dogs. Lots and lots of dogs about. It's a very dog-friendly area. Pretty much all the pubs and restaurants in Swanage allow dogs. Oh, people. Why are there always people? I'll just pop you away a second, give these people their privacy as they do their day out. I'm not good on identifying ferns, but I am good at enjoying them. I love this. This is very Beth Chatto, isn't it? You think right plant, right place. It's very shady. There's lots of tree canopy. It's shady, damp. Woodland, shady, damp. Put ferns in. Okay, yeah, I just thought this was the most magical thing as a child. Also because there's always a little corner. You're never quite sure how far you're going and where you're going. And the fact that I've always loved little streams. There's something about a little stream. It is quite low at the moment. Very low. And then little sort of secret places. Where does that go? Well, it must be going to a smuggler's house or a pirate's house. Yes, that's my child brain, and I still have a child brain. We're getting nearer. At the moment, all I can hear is the wind in the trees rather than the waves. And also, it's going to be fairly high tide when I get down there. I just couldn't get going this morning. I think, like I was just saying, coming down the road, I think there's been a lot more walking in the last couple of days than I've done for a long time. So yeah, my legs didn't want to get going. So I got going about 2 hours after I intended to. Which means I think it's about 11:30 now, and high tide is due, I think, at about 1:30 today. Oh, breathe deep, everyone. Breathe deep. Welcome to my, because yes, this is mine. Welcome to my magical kingdom. Well, mine and my sister's. I need to remember to share. Okay. Let's just take a moment. I'll get us onto the beach and get us set up. Oh, it feels good to sit on the sand. Now, normally, I would go, right down that far end of the beach. Right at that far end. It's so quiet down there. But, well, my legs didn't want to go that far. So I plonked myself here. Just to give you an idea. The light's going to be tricky today. Remember when I was at the lifeboat house and I was showing you in the distance the stacks of rocks? That's there. Old Harry. This is a stunning walk from Swanage, which is way over this side. It's about 3.5 miles around this headland. Around, down, and then you come in where I've just come in. It's a stunning walk. I've done it a gazillion times. Not sure that I'll be up to it now, but never mind. Also, I know. So this beach, I'm at Studland. I know a lot of you know Studland. I'm at Studland South Beach, which is always very quiet, very private. This is where we always came. So, continuing around, lovely sand. Look at that beautiful sand. It's so fine and soft. So the beach comes around and around, and then it sort of stops here. There's a bit of a rocky outcrop. At low tide you can get around, and then behind there you get to Middle Beach, which is the one that's actually shut at the moment. It's all to do with sea defences and how the coast is being eroded. And there was a cafe built there in, I think, 1904. So, 120 odd years ago, on a concrete slab, and it's being washed out. So they're actually removing it, and that's the beach that's closed at the moment. And folk were saying, I think one of the beaches is closed, Vivi. And my heart was in my mouth, but it's not my beach. And then it continues, and you've got Knoll Beach, and then, I don't know if you can make out in the distance, the sand is just so beautiful. Oh, sorry, God, that was way too quick. Look at that beautiful sand. Goes all the way sort of around up to Shell Bay, and then it's not distinguishable from here, but there's a little gap and that's the opening of Poole Harbour. And there's a long road that comes all the way along here that takes you to the ferry. You can take the bus on the ferry, but all of this land it's sort of nature reserve. It's sand dunes. It's hang on a minute, I've got to get comfy. There we go. The sun's starting to, it's trying to come out. Yeah, it's all sand dunes, and it's an area of special scientific interest because all 6 6 of our native reptiles can be found there. I think it's the only place in the country where you can find all 6 of our native reptiles. I can't remember what all our native reptiles are. Adder snake. I think there's the common newt, the crested newt, natterjack toad. Oh, I've forgotten. My grandparents will be looking down at me now, frowning. They taught me all that. And it's one of those things where it's another thing of, like, if I was to live here, there are bus stops along that road. You can just hop off the bus and go and explore in the sand dunes. And what's really apparent to me, what's become really apparent is this whole issue with walking. I don't really want to go on one, but it's having a massive impact on my life of, well, I can't do that anymore and I can't do this anymore. But I still want to get out and about, and I still want to, you know, explore in the sand dunes and that sort of thing. So to know that there's buses, quick word on the buses before I go in for a swim. They've got an offer on at the moment. It's brilliant. It's until the end of October, and every ride is £2. It's great. I mean, it's still more expensive than London. That's the crazy thing. But for example, my ride from Wareham train station down to Swanage, that was £2, is normally £7.50. That's a huge amount. So if I was to do a day rotate, if I was to go to Wareham for market day and back, that's £15. I mean, that's crazy. So that's a bit of a shocker and does make me think twice. Before anyone says it, I'm not old enough to get an old person's bus pass. I looked up, I've checked what bus passes they do, and that one I wouldn't be able to get for more than a decade still. They do have a disability bus pass, but seeing as I got turned down for that in London, maybe the same. Although I'm going to try and apply again for it in London because, you know, things have got worse in the last year. So, buses I've been checking out, you know, I know the bus routes, but it was more about the prices, and £7.50 is horrifying, frankly. But anyway, here we are on Studland beach. There's a load of seaweed up on the beach. It has been quite windy the last few days. Do you see what I see? Or feel what I feel? The sun. So this beach is actually almost north facing, and because we've got hills behind, it's not a very sunny beach. Actually, it's the perfect kind of beach to come to if you're fair-skinned. Our Richard should come here, because you won't get burnt here. Now, I'm going to get upset about this. I want to go in the sea. I've got my swimmies on underneath. Came prepared. The thing is, around here there's no one, so this is the perfect beach for me to do it. I haven't bathed outdoors since 2019. I haven't had an outdoor swim. I've had a couple of opportunities since then, and I haven't taken them because of my body, because of hating it and hating how it's changed. But how awful to stop myself from doing something I love just because of this stupid body. So I'm gonna gird myself. I'm gonna wind my courage up and get myself in that water. I'm not missing this opportunity, and besides, I need to take a handful of my sister out to sea with me. It's her last wishes. Take me for a swim at Studland. So yeah, right, I'm gonna go now because I'm about to get all emotional. Gird myself for my swim and gird myself for my sister. Bliss. First things first, beach etiquette. When you've got a lovely long beach like this, it's not massively long, is it? I'm not talking about these people behind me, they've just arrived, but until a few moments ago, I'd say the beach is empty apart from me. 2 women, about my age, maybe a bit older, turned up, went in, did their swim, came out, had a flask of tea and off. And I think they must be local. They had all the kit. They look like they do it all the time. Anyway, yeah, beach etiquette. just had this couple, I don't know, retired, over retirement age. Empty beach. They've just sat next to me, about 4 metres away from me. That's a bit of a wind up. Oh look, hang on if I reach back here. Sun's trying to come out. Yeah, that's a bit of a wind up. Anyway, I've been in for a swim with my sis and crikey, it was cold. Well, it was cold. You have to get your shoulders under, don't you? That moment when you get your shoulders under, and yeah, then it's okay. But walking out, because it's a really, really shallow shelf here, so you've got to walk for like half a mile before it's up to your belly. And I was kind of laughing. I was laughing as I was walking into the sea, and I could hear my sister going, "Chicken, just get in. Go on, diamond, chicken." Oh, yeah. Bliss. Total bliss. Just bobbing around and sort of looking at the cliffs, because there've been lots of clouds scuddering over, as you can see now. Actually, where's the light? Let's find some light. Got a bit of light. There we go. Tiny bit of light. Come with me. Yeah, sort of as the light's scuddering over, just looking out there at the cliffs. You know, 1 minute the white is really bright and then it goes into shade again. Some quite nice little waves today. It's always that moment, isn't it, when you're walking into the sea and a wave comes and it slaps you in the belly and you weren't ready for the cold. This is needed, especially if that sun comes out. Yeah, happy days, happy days. So I'm going to, now that couple have finally gone, I just wanted some really quiet time. I'm going to sit a little while longer, let the old swimming cosy dry out a bit more. And then I'm going to, remember I showed you the walk around that cliff, I'm going to go back over the other side. I was trying to find the light, there we go. I'm going to take the bus back over towards Swanage, but I'm not going to go right into the town. I'm going to jump off at the far end that I've been pointing out to you in these last few days of saying, oh, there's the Grand Hotel where I work, that's where my grandparents live, that's the wild end of the beach. That's my next port of call with my sister. That's my last stop with my sister. So, yeah, we'll head round there in a minute. If I've got the energy, I'll do a quick, teeny little detour, show you where my grandparents lived. But otherwise, yeah, it's a beach day today. I might leave Swanage Beach right till the end of the day, because this beach, Studland Beach, I love it because it just feels more wild. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see 6 people. I mean, I know it's out of season now. We're heading towards the end of September, but it's a beautiful, beautiful day in September, and there are 6 people on this beach, and me. So yeah, I love it. That's why it's always been such a special beach, because just so few people come here. Quite often people who have done the walk around, or who are doing the Southwest Coast path, you quite often see walkers appear on the beach in their serious walking gear, and they might come and sit for 10-15 minutes, have a cup of tea, have a protein bar, that sort of thing, but generally they don't stick around. So for most of the day, most of the rest of the day, I'm going to have this beach to myself, and maybe another little swim, another little dip. I love that smell of salt on my skin. I love the feel of it on my skin. I didn't put my head under. Maybe I need to go back in and get my head under. I didn't want to put my head under in case I got too cold when I got out, but with these momentary bits of sunshine, maybe I should. Anyway, for now, that's Vivi over and out, whilst I just have some total bliss, chill, quiet time on the gorgeous Studland beach, South Beach. Yeah, I'm out for now. Bye. Oh, it's blowing. I'm right. I'll have to shout. I'm right at the end of inhabited Swanage. That's the uninhabited bit. Hold on, town is this way. That's all the way back there. Oh, I got some waves. Yay. I don't know if you'll be able to hit a thing. Let me say it really close. So I'm heading down there, but it's really steep. It's really vertiginous. I don't know if I'm going to be able to manage it, but this is for my sister, so I'm jolly well going to try. I'm not going to take any risks though. Bring you really close up. If I have a look, if I can't manage it, I'm going to come back up and take the bus round to the beach. But yeah, that's... Where are we? There. There's a little gap. That's what I'm heading for. What I was trying to say at the top of the cliff, you may not have heard because it's really gusty, is it's quite a vertiginous climb down here. It's a little cut in the cliff, it's called Shep's Hollow. Actually, where's the light? Let's turn to the light. Oh, it's very, very bright. Yeah, it's called Shep's Hollow. Oh. Noticeable behind me, and it's basically where I stood on the cliff there. I could throw a stone and hit my grandma's kitchen window, almost. Can you hear the surf? Oh, surf's up. I can't wait to get in again. It's been the most perfect swimming day today. The water is as warm as it's ever going to be. I love the waves. Now, just to say as well, I know the sea here, I know the tides, I know the rips, I'm sensible, I'm not going to go far out, I'm going to stay within my depth. Please don't worry, I am sensible. But yeah, come on, I can't wait to get in. Right, you lovely lot. I'm actually standing in the lee of the cliff in the hopes that it will stop the wind. The surf's so noisy. Now listen, for the rest of this afternoon, this is me and my sister, private time, just the two of us out in the bay swimming. So I'm going to wrap up this bit of the video now, spend the rest of the afternoon with my sis, and then probably catch up with you later back down in town when I'm dry again. Oh, thank goodness I'm back in the flat. I'm done for. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I've actually broken my legs today. Oh, and I'm a dishevelled mess. My hair's in ratty sea tails, but that's waves. I always say, well, my mum used to say, and I picked it up, that if you swim in waves, it puts waves in your hair. My poker straight hair. Oh my goodness. That was such a special day. I may get a little bit emotional, but that's okay. you know, this whole trip, I'm kind of, I'm going back to London tomorrow, so I'm going to round things off with you guys. It's about 6 o'clock at the moment, so I'm going to have my evening and tomorrow morning here without the camera, just doing some last little bits and bobs of reflecting. But it's been a great trip in terms of, you know, the whole possibility of moving. Lots more to reflect on that, but that can wait for London, because today it's all about my sis. The whole trip's been about my sis, really. Everywhere I've gone, everything I've done, I've had her in my bag with me. I've been chatting away to her. Half of Swanage might think I'm a bit of a weirdo maniac talking to a bag. I don't care. And today was the hard bit. Today was distributing her ashes in some favourite spots. She's all over the place. But I know, I think I mentioned this before, but I mean, I'm really honoured that she asked me to do this for her. But I also know that when she wrote that letter asking me to do it, that she will have known that I would know exactly where to bring her. So there's a couple of, well, there's four spots on 2 beaches, and I know exactly where they are. I've taken some photographs as well, and they can, for my brother-in-law, my nephew. I know exactly where she is, so whenever I'm down here, you know, today, sorry, I thought I'd done all my tears on the beach. And I said, right, when you get back, round it all up, Vivi, but don't cry. I was kind of dreading today in a way. I was thinking, oh, you know, this is it. This is final goodbye. But of course it's not. Because whether I move here or just keep visiting here, I pop down to those 2 different beaches, and you know, I pop by, I'll say hello to her, I'll have a little chat, and we can have a swim together. And you know what? That's the other thing about, I'm so glad she asked me to do this, because I don't know whether she was expecting me to actually swim with her, but it really encouraged me to get back in the water for the first time in 4 years, and to say, you know what, stuff it. I don't care what my body looks like. No one's looking anyway, no one's bothered. But I've been so crushed, my confidence has been so utterly smashed in the last few years by losing mobility. Excuse me a sec. By losing mobility, and therefore losing fitness, and therefore losing my shape. So it was blooming brilliant. It was so good. And you know what? It's that moment where I'm wading out and wading out and wading out. Oh, slap! Cold water on the belly. I do, woohoo! People must have heard from my ears. I was squealing a lot, but that's okay. It's happy sounds. But there's that moment where it's like, okay, next wave, I'm going to go in. And there's that moment where my feet come off the seabed, they come off the sand, and I'm suspended in the water. And it's almost instant, that relief in my knees, that weightlessness in the water. Beautiful. So yes, sorry, I need to blow my nose, hang on. Yeah, sorry about that. That kind of, you know that thing when your eyes prick? Suddenly, anyway. Yes, just utterly glorious in the water. And the light today has been beautiful. I know when we were at Studland there was a lot of cloud coming over, so the lighting on what you were seeing on camera may not have been brilliant, but it got brighter and brighter as the day went on, and warmer, and it was gorgeous and so quiet, apart from the sound of the surf, especially when we got down to Swanage, goodness me. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a day of just me, this kind of solitary physical person, and the presence of another person, just enjoying our favourite beaches, having a brilliant swim, stuff what anyone thinks or says, I blooming loved it. I'm back in the sea. That's it. You can't keep me out of it now. Well, maybe in January. Just have to get a wetsuit if they make one big enough. Don't care. Rip it open. Now, one last thing before we go. There was a comment a few days ago that I loved, absolutely loved it, from Grumpy Poo. That's her moniker. It's great, Grumpy Poo. I think it was from Grumpy Poo. And she was talking about, she picks up little stones, little pebbles, and they sort of represent sort of a moment of joy. And she pops them in a jar, and it's her jar of joy, her pebble jar of joy. And then she said, you know if it's a really good day when it's a 5 pebble day. Loved that idea. Today was a beautiful day. Bittersweet. I mean, look, I've cried and cried and cried today. I've laughed loads too as well. I just thought, God, if anyone was watching my antics today or overhearing me, they might have thought, that girl's got to loop the loop. No, I was just talking to my sister. It has been a really, really special day. It couldn't have been more perfect. So, my lovely, going into my pockets, it is a 1, 2, I love this one, 3, these feel lovely in the palm, 4, because they're flat, yes, Grumpy Poo, it's a 5 pebble day, love it. And then there's one more in this pocket, one extra, I'll give it a wash, it's quite a big one, it's chalky, because my brother-in-law has decided to extend my sister's flower garden, just get my hair up now, her flower garden at their home in Yorkshire. Popping in some things my sister talked about always wanting to have and to put into the garden, but she'd never got round to it, or, they were expensive plants, whatever. So he's recently bought a ton of bulbs. He's going to be planting bulbs for 2 weekends at least, I reckon. And I love the idea. I love the idea that he's extending her flower garden. And he was saying, how's he going to remember all the bulbs? And I was talking about draw a map. And then I mentioned to him, my garden pebble idea for my plant labels are pebbles. And I was telling him about it because they're great, because the foxes can't carry them off, they last forever, but also they're nice to look at in the garden, they're natural rather than plastic labels. Anyway, he loved the idea, so he's going to do that in my sister's garden in Yorkshire. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a wash, because it's chalk, it's come from, chalk cliff. I'm going to send this up to her, and I'm going to put a little note on the underside to go into her garden as a little bit of me, a little bit of Swanage, and then, yeah, he can add that to her garden, and yeah, it's kind of full circle then, isn't it? She's come down from Yorkshire to London, I brought her down to Dorset, and then this is a little bit of Dorset that'll go up there to sit in her garden. So thank you, Grumpy Poo. It was most definitely a 5 pebble day today. So, gorgeosities, I'm going to wrap it up there. It's been a really lovely trip, the whole thing. I think I'm ready to go back to London. I'll be ready to go back to London tomorrow. I'm not going to wish this time away. It has been utterly wonderful in so many different ways. I hope you've enjoyed the bits and bobs I've showed you, and yeah, if nothing else, I've got this video record for myself, and I can pop today's video on especially and just look at those waves coming in as I was climbing down Shep's Hollow today. God, it nearly killed me getting back up out of there. Oh my goody goodness. Anyway, I did. So there. Alright, lovelies, please all look after yourselves. And you know what? Look after your mental health too. Being by the sea, just listening to the waves and letting everything else go has been so good for me upstairs. I hope you can find something similar for yourself to calm your upstairs stuff as well. Until the next time, cheerio.